just on a dime drop. Bam!
And just like that, the boys are back.
Back in the brand new year, 2026, year of our Lord.
Another week of Garage Chats.
Garage Chats episode 3.
Who do we have on today? Dill?
Got me, we got Joe, and we got a special guest. First one kicking off the new year. Keyron.
How's it going?
Doing good, man. Happy to have you on here.
Stoked to be on the podcast.
Yeah, I've been itching to have you on personally. This is a direction I wanted to go with the podcast in a way. Like, I'm just gonna be grilling you about the outdoors, man. Outdoors, hockey.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is gonna be a nice change of pace. I've been loving the conversations that we've been having, man. This is just gonna open up a whole new genre for where the garage chats could possibly lead, and who knows, by the end of it we might even end up covering Venezuela.
Yeah, and like the backroom conversations that Joey and I have, Keyron was one of the first hopeful guest ideas that came up. Don't know if Joe ever shared that with you, but we're trying to plan out for where we want to go in the new year and kind of to cap off 2025 prior to that. And yeah, man, it was one of the first, you were one of the first options that came up that we were both just like, green light, yep. Just as a little bit of background, I just met Keyron in the fall of 2025. Him and Joe took me out for a little hunting trip, backpack plot through Heffley Creek area, looking for deer in the limited bow season.
Yeah, that was during the bow season.
Yeah.
Any buck, bow season, yep.
If you're interested in advertising on the Garage Chats podcast, please reach out to our team at garagechatspod@gmail.com. Didn't come home with anything that day.
Lots of laughs, good stories. That's what
it.
It's all about.
We saw a lot of deer that day. Was that the day that maybe I'm tripping. Was that the day that the grouse jumped out of the fucking side of the road?
Oh yeah.
Up like right near the very top though, when we went in that like little where it kind of like closed in on either side.
Yeah.
After we saw those.
Yeah.
And it was like a couple feet after they busted out. That was like, yeah, and I thought about that moment. I don't know if we covered that on the last pod. Funny, just jump right into it. Like, I've always had this moment as someone who spends a lot of time in the outdoors that, like, I'd like to think that I'm prepared. I've handled a lot of firearms, like, in a safe setting, and like the range, in the outdoors, around people. So like I've imagined the scenario, like not to a crazy extent, but like what would happen if I was out in the woods and like a cougar or like a bear or something like just came busting out, or even like a moose, comes flying out of the trees at you, and like, how quick are you gonna like be able to react and assess those situations, and hopefully like be able to like, say you're gonna protect yourself.
And I think everybody has an idea in their head that they'll be John Wayne pulling out, you know what I mean, man?
The old 6-shooter on the hip.
On a dime drop. Bam! Right?
Yeah.
The reality's a lot different.
We were walking down this trail, man. We'd just seen 2 deer. Literally, we were walking down the trail. It was the first couple deer of the day, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 20 minutes after we got out of the vehicle. We saw the doe and the fawn. Sitting right on the side of the road, and they kind of bounced off down the hill, and it was like 5 seconds later, man, and it was like pretty thick. Boom! Grouse comes flying out of the bushes at me, and like for a split second, I didn't know what it was. Like, they're so loud for anyone who has not had the experience of having a grouse bust up at your feet. It is the loudest shit ever, and like, not a natural sound that you hear all the time. So like my brain was just like trying to piece it together, man. And like I realized that like by the time I realized it was a grouse, at least 2 or 3 seconds had gone by. And like I've got bear mace on my hip, I've got like the bow, I've got a knife on my belt, and like I literally grabbed the straps of my backpack and turned away. Like I just turned into a turtle, man, like immediately. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face kind of thing. Like, this is interesting. On that note, Keyron, seasoned hunter. I would say, in my opinion, you're a seasoned hunter. You spend your time chasing mule deer, whitetail, black bear, moose, mountain goat, mountain sheep. This guy, anything if it can be put on
4 legs, it's getting chased.
Yeah, if it can be put on a pen at 325, it can be chased by this guy. Is where I'm getting at. So like, man, have you ever had any? We'll get into like all these other opportunity or like experiences, but like, have you ever had any like close calls? So what's the craziest shit you've ever had happen with like an animal in the bush?
Never had any close calls. I will say this, it doesn't matter how many years of experience you got in the bush, you can never be experienced enough and be ready for a thunder chicken taken off at your feet. Doesn't matter. It always gets the heart pounding. Gets your stomach in your throat. Takes a couple years off your body. But no, I've been fortunate. Never had done lots of mountain hunting in grizzly country. Done some pretty gnarly experiences, and I've been fortunate to never have a close encounter, and knock on the razor. Hopefully never will.
Razor, yes sir.
Yeah.
Have you ever like, sorry to interrupt you, Dylan, have you ever like, is grizzly bear is the apex predator in British Columbia outside of like the killer whale and the human, but like land-based, mountain-based, I'd say the grizzly bear.
I would say.
Have you ever seen them?
Yeah, closest I've ever been to one is probably 600 or 700 yards in the bush, and that was close enough for me. Yeah, it was elk hunting in the Kootenays. Had a herd bull bugling, couldn't put 6 on them, hiked out in the dark, went to a different mountain range that morning and glassed up, and that grizzly was right on our tracks.
Really? Like right where you come from?
Right where we came from, right where I had the bull lined up, just waiting to count 6, and he was right in our trail.
How far away from the truck or like from your transport were you?
Probably 4.5K.
What's that like? What's that like being that far from
Oh, it's definitely nerve-wracking.
a set of wheels when you know these things?
For those
are
that
right
don't
there.
know, bears are fast as fuck.
Yeah.
4 kilometers, man, that's like 20 minutes for a bear through that shit, man.
Oh,
They can move, like,
I forget the speed, but I believe they can run up to like 30 miles an hour at full tilt.
yeah,
Like
I
they
believe that. I think
cruise,
so.
and they're big. They're not small.
No. That's crazy. Sorry to interject, man. I had the first time I ever saw a bear in my life, dude, that I can like remember. I was like 6 years old. I was hunting with my dad on the island, and they have black bears on the island. They also have grizzly bears now, confirmed. The COs are finally confirming that they have grizzly bears now on the
There's
island.
a lot of cougars.
A lot of
cougars.
cougars. There's more cougars on Vancouver Island than there is on the rest of Canada. Think about that.
That's a pretty scary number,
That's a
man.
real stat.
For all the
you can
hiking
look
and
up.
shit that goes on there.
Yeah, there's more cougars alive on Vancouver Island than there is combined in all of Canada, like the rest of like the land. So that being said, grizzly bears are now in Vancouver Island. Locals have been saying that since I was a kid, like 2000s. Finally, only recent 2020s, they confirmed it. Anyways, man, I saw a black bear. I was 6 years old. My dad and I were on a cut. And like huge, no chance. This is when I learned what like a two deer is. My dad calls them two deer, two bear, too far away, too heavy,
Oh yeah.
too fucking, you know, like we're not fucking shooting that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We saw this bear, man, and like it was at the bottom. It was kind of like a big, like massive logged out ravine. Like it was far, like 200 yards bottom to the top of the hill kind of thing. Man, this bear, I guess, like, it got wind of us. It was at the bottom of this thing, and it took off up the hill the other way. In, like, slash pile, like, fallen timber, like, big Vancouver Island trees, man. Like, this thing was climbing over trees and, like, sprinting up that hill. It maybe took him, like, just under a minute to get to the top of the hill. Which would have taken us probably over an hour to hike out of. Like, just the shit that this thing was going through. At top speed, probably moving at like 15 kilometers an hour up this fucking hill through that mess. Bears are no joke, man. Like, sketch.
I remember in my firearms training course that I took, this was in the core segment of it.
Did you do it in school?
No. So I did mine through a private guy. in Kamloops here, and then I did my
George McKnight.
I did my firearms course with George
McKnight.
Yeah.
All three of
Such
us.
a beauty.
Yeah, all three
Man.
of us are students of the master.
Old guard, man. Hey, Grosh Chats listeners. If you have an older relative, someone you think would benefit from getting their fitness future returned to them, you always reach out to XHab Fitness. That's a one-on-one service that I run where I'll come right to your loved one's home. We meet them, learn about their physical history, and then we develop a program for them unique to their goals, whether that be returning to activity, whether that be just a general pain-free existence, or whether that be improving their strength and their mobility to the point where they can live life at a more fulfilled level.
At XHab Fitness Rehabilitation, we specialize in safe, guided fitness programs designed specifically for seniors, whether they're recovering from injury, managing chronic pain, or simply wanting to stay strong and mobile. Movement is more than exercise. It's independence, it's confidence, and it's living life on their own terms.
If you're interested, you can always reach out 250-641-3604 or through email at xhabcam@gmail.com. That's XHABKAM @gmail.com. But yeah, so George, we're in class. One of the guys asks him, hey, I know we can't carry, pistols around anymore in the backcountry. If a, say a bear, he said a bear. It was like if a predator, springs on you, what's your opinion on carrying like a Defender shotgun, like something to just have like a quick, like 4-round pump into this thing to try and stop it? And George kind of considered for a sec, and he looked back at him and he's like, firstly, he's like, I'm not trusting that this thing's going down, even if all 4 hit exactly where I want it to hit. And he's like, maybe for the first one, he's like, I have like, I have a buckshot loaded in. He's like, spray him around the eyes to see if he'll back off. He's like, after that, I got a bigger round. It's going into him. He's like, then at the end, he's like, my last 2 shots are just slugs. He's like, I'm aiming for his shoulder to stop him running. Yeah. He's like, and I'm praying that last one is enough to cause him to back off. Yeah. He's like, if it gets on you and it's in your visual range that this guy's coming, he's like, you're probably already lunch. Yeah. And just that sticks out to me from that moment where it was like, this is leading into a question that I want to ask you. But like, I think when you're a good hunter, this is speaking on my limited experience, but like when you're a good hunter, you take every means of preparation. Yep. You do everything to put the likelihood of a safe, effective, successful hunt in your favor, right? Weather, gear, knowledge, right? This is something that I want to ask you, and it kind of comes back to that first question Joey was talking to you about, being like, man, any close calls, this or that. You said, I've been lucky enough that so far I've stayed away from things that were, perilous in that way. I wanted to come back to that and say, because we have to obviously acknowledge the wildness, the chaos of nature. You have to
respect it.
Yeah, and respect it. Like Joey says, right? Everybody thinks they're John Wayne, and then a grouse hops out in front of you, and for 3 seconds you're like, Frozen. And so, this is a bird the size of like your fist, cruising out of a bush. Not a, several 100-pound mountain lion that's sitting there looking at you like lunch that you're not even going to hear before it's sinking into you.
You should have seen some of the gross Keyron and I saw this September, man.
Oh, man, I got a gross story after this. But
put hair on your chest.
So the question I want to ask is, how much can a person really prepare for that? And kind of what would your thoughts be on what that preparation looks like for heading out into the bush?
I've had some not good experiences mountain hunting, especially for goats, where you take up minimal gear because their hides are super thick. It's a lot of weight to carry down. I've been in that instance where you're like, hey, let's just go up light. We can do it in a day.
Yeah.
And I had an experience. I was goat hunting, and it was a 14-hour round trip
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
On foot.
On foot.
Oh, you're talking about.
And you're in the mountains, man. So you're in grade. You're in no
Yeah.
man's land. Like,
You're in 15, 20 foot mature alders, and you're battling through. And yeah, I had that instance where we went up and weren't successful and didn't time it right. We left the truck at 7 a.m. and got back just after 11:30 at night.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
so you're hiking down in the dark then after the day's done.
We were fortunate enough that we planned it out that we would be off the mountain at the base at dark no matter what.
Yeah.
We had a bit of food and like emergency sleeping bags, so if we did have to spend the night on the mountain. But yeah, you always got to plan ahead. Like when I go mountain hunting, I always have at least change of clothes and an extra day or two's worth of food. Because if a guy breaks an ankle,
It's one of my worst fucking fears, dude, is just being way out and like
Yeah.
an injury happening.
yeah, I've had that goat hunting. I was goat hunting this fall, had an OEH, and went up with my, used to be my second cousin, and he was like, we went up, had a bit of a mishap. He was fine, but you always gotta be super prepared. Can't take any measurements of, like, yeah, you'll be fine. Like, you gotta, like, I always over prepare. Like, yeah, packs are definitely heavy, but when you need that first aid kit or that extra day's worth of food, you will be happy that you packed it up there, because you always have to be prepared for the elements. It can go from clear blue skies to a torrential downpour or a blizzard in a matter of seconds.
I think the other one that like I'm guilty of not having myself that I think is so important is a sat phone, man.
Yep.
Like an inReach or something.
Yep.
Like I don't have one, and I swear it is just the most important piece of technology for any hiker, hunter, fisherman, dude, anything, man. Like there was that story a couple of years back of like those two older guys. I think they're in their 60s, man, and they went out on Stump Lake, I want to say.
I've
The one
heard
down
that
the
story.
5A.
Yep.
Is that Stump?
Yep.
Dude, wind picked up fucking... They were in like a little tinny, right? Like fucking trolling motor on it. Wind picked up, or their battery died. Wind picked up. Fucking flipped them, man. Like, boat was found on, like, upside down on shore. Like, pretty big lake. For anyone, like, who doesn't really
Yep.
know. Like, it's not big enough to, like, get lost on, but, like, it's big. It's big enough that, like, you wouldn't see a tinner fucking flip if you were on the other side of the lake. Like,
No, and especially with it being at the bottom of a valley in a big open range.
yeah.
Stump Lake, I've had it where, same thing. Blue skies, and especially gets at the bottom of the valley, if that wind ever comes in, it just funnels down to that lake. And I've had it where it's gone from fine to like 1.5 foot swales.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fuck, I was out there. Very similar, man. And, like, that story was on my... I got a little tinner with a trolling motor, and the boys were out there, man. And, like, yeah, wind picked up out there, man. And, like, thankfully, like, it was white capping, but it wasn't, like, crazy. And, like, we got back. Fresh motor, fresh battery, you know? Boys got back. Like, but, dude, it was, like, how crazy and quick things can go. And, like, something like... Bro, I feel like an inReach, a life jacket, are like two fucking things that are the exact same thing, man. You should just like never go in the outdoors
Well,
without...
complacency kills.
Complacency kills. And so that is like getting back to the point where Dill was talking about like preparing for something like that. And it's like whether you're talking about preparing for like an accident, you know, like a first aid kit. Oh my god. A good first aid kit is fucking worth its life in gold, man. When shit actually goes down, man, I've been lucky that I haven't had like crazy shit go down, man. But I've had some weird shit happen on the bush, man, where boys like, yeah, you get a good cut, man, or boys like fall or something happens, man. Like, I've been out there when it's happened, thank the Lord nothing's been bad enough where it's severely hindered a fucking trip to, like, you know, or anything like that. Or like, man, like, holy smokes, like, get the 2018. This was October 2nd, 2018. Me, Siebes, Colton, and my last dog went out hunting. And we went way up, fucking, starts with a P. It's a lake. Huge.
Pass Lake?
No, God.
Penitent?
No, God, no, guys. I'm fucking it up. Bonaparte wasn't a P. We were way the fuck up the Bonaparte, dude, okay? Like, 80 kilometers up the Bonaparte on, like, the main logging road. Like, we were at, like, marker 80-something. And then, like, another, like, 30 or 40 up a fucking spur road, dude. Boys are like, dude, it's like 1.5 feet of snow. We're in Siebes' truck. Super sick truck for the snow at the time. Like, we're chilling, man. Like, we haven't seen anybody in, like, 4 hours, bro. Like, no powder in or out, like, or no tracks. Like, we're fucking looking for bucks, dude. Like, windows down, gawking out the sides of the truck. We're coming down this fucking hill. Bro, we're in the middle of nowhere. I mind you. Like, no service. I haven't had service for the last 5 hours, dude. Like, you know? And we're like 100 kilometers away from fucking Kamloops. Like, we're literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. We're like cruising, going like 30 down this fucking grade. Flattens out a bit before it goes down again, man. We're like chilling. Literally, I mind you, haven't seen anyone in 4 hours, dude. And all of a sudden, Siebes is like, oh fuck. I look forward, dude, and there is a fucking Toyota Tacoma gliding through the air at the boys, going like 70 kilometers an hour. Boom! Right into the fucking front of the truck. Like, everyone's fucked up immediately. Like, no, like, severe damage, but like, I got tossed around. Like, I was ready to
Truck just smacked into you guys.
Dude,
going,
I was ready to hop
yeah.
out for a deer. You know, I wasn't ready. Like, I wasn't in the best position to be going in a head-on collision. Bam! This truck flips over into the ditch, man. On its roof. We're fucking trucks in the middle of the road, dude. Like, we just ate this thing, and it just flipped off the hood, pretty much. Like, no one was hurt. Get out, like, pry these guys from their truck. They're two, like, loggers, two boys that are, they, like, I don't know, whatever it is, they, like, start at the top and just, like, walk their way down a mountain and flag all the dangerous trees. Sick job, you know? But, like, they're out there. They know no one else is fucking out there, man, so they're shredding. Yeah, so thank the Lord nobody was injured during that. How quickly things go wrong out in the bush. Like, we didn't have any means. This was the other thing too. ICBC deemed the accident 50-50, even though these guys were literally flying so fucking fast and drove right into the head, like head on into us on a straight stretch. Because we didn't have a radio. Learned an expensive lesson, actually, like, at a young age. Boys were like 19, you know? Like, get a fucking radio if you're gonna go hunt in the fucking backwoods on logging roads, man. Like, these boys were working, dude. Like, you know, they were using their radio. As far as they were concerned, no one was out there, but they were also driving like idiots. So, 50-50. Boys literally drove a total truck. 100-something kilometers out of the bush in the snow. We drove that truck out, dude, because we had no other option. Because we didn't fucking have a sat phone or anything. So, recommend an inReach. Complacency kills. On that note, how do you train for a fucking predator, dude? Same way cops train. You just fucking repetition and hope that your body just instinctually does it when it's called upon.
And hopefully you never have to put that training to use.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's the other
pretty
side
much
of
it.
it.
Yeah.
I think that's where, like, we talked about a couple of things coming in, like, you know, knowledge being one of, like, those pillars that support that process. And I think there's a lot of layers you can look at with that with hunting, where, like, not only, like, game knowledge, region knowledge, you know, but, like, terrain knowledge, like you mentioned, being aware of those weather patterns that can happen depending on where you're in. Like, you're in a high, you know, you're at high elevation, come out in the sunshine, 20 minutes in, you've got this giant storm cloud rolling in, and now you're pinned down on a steep ass slope that's wet as fuck.
Yep.
And, you know, do you have the kit on you to be able to handle that? But I want to look at it from this side with knowledge. There's an interesting thing I came across that I hadn't considered before this, which is like the intersection of different outdoor activities, right? Specifically, I want to look at things like backpacking, like people going on like deep hikes into places, right? Or like say like you're a cross country runner or something like that, right? And you know, I'd say for most people, for the majority, you're probably running in something like a provincial park. You're probably running in something where at some level they've got a fence separation from the true wilderness to where you're going to be within this area.
You look like prey.
That's not a guarantee, man. And you look like prey. And you're out there, no weapon, maybe some people have bear spray if they're going hiking and stuff like that. I think it's a responsible thing. Bear bells.
Bear bangers.
But I remember the old story of like, they used to have, I think this is in my hometown, they had a sign like this that was like, you know, warning, grizzly bear poop in area. Look, it's like if you think a poop might be grizzly bear poop, look for bear bells in the poop. And I just remember that, you know, it's like there are these things that you think of as a natural deterrent, but the efficacy of that deterrent really comes down to your knowledge, right? And like putting yourself into the best case scenario. But the story that I'm referencing is this story where it was from the perspective of these two hunters, and they were out in the bush. This is somewhere in BC. They're looking for they're deer hunting, right? And they're way out there, man. They're way out there. You know, probably not too dissimilar from the story you were just sharing. And they're like looking, you know, they're glassing around, and they see these two guys in like, you know, t-shirts, shorts, hiking shoes, backpack full of food that's smelling up the woods, and they're just like, oh hey, how's it going, guys, this or that. And these guys were literally like, do you guys like, do you realize where you are right now? Like how, like what kit do you guys have? Like, oh, we got like food and stuff, like, you know, if we got to spend the night, we've got like a tent in our bags, whatever. And it's just like, again, we were talking about knowledge, regional knowledge, otherwise. I think it's just so wild how like, depending on what your perspective is and what your relationship with nature is, how that flavors your knowledge on what could happen in that area, you know? It's like I say, these guys probably like, oh, we're going to go for a sweet weekend hiking. We're going to hit a couple vistas. This is going to be like sweet times, you know, we'll cook up some grub, we'll cook up these MREs we bought at Mountain Equipment Co-op, and you know, it'll be a great time. And then there's these guys out here that are like watching, looking for deer, but also being like, fuck man, there could be mountain lion here, there could be bears, there could be wolves, there could be yotes. Like,
I think it's subjective to your own reality. 2 notes on that. I want to bring in the fact that it's like, what about the guys that are like that guy who got eaten by the grizzly bears, him and his girlfriend, if I'm not mistaken, this was like 2000s, who was like living amongst grizzly bears, filming themselves and shit, and everyone was like, you're gonna get fucking eaten by a bear. And he wound up filming himself getting eaten by a grizzly bear, and like the footage is, I don't know if it's ever been released, man. I've like morbidly tried to find it. I just like, I don't know, like it's history, man. Like it's all over the place. Anyways, this guy, everyone was like, you're fucking nuts, you know, like this and that, and he's like, listen, all of you guys are talking from a fucking city, all you this and that. He's like, I do this shit. You know, like I'm him. I live out here. Like I'm living amongst these things. I understand the territory. I understand their behavior. All this shit. And if it gets me, it gets me. But it's not gonna kind of deal. Was like his whole attitude, which is very like dissimilar, but similar in a way. Where I look at hunters, that disconnect of like, you have these guys going out there hiking, being like, oh whatever, you know, like carrying bear bells and shit. In places I would not go unless I had a 12 gauge that had a birdshot, buckshot, slug combo in the neck, ready to bark, dude, at all times. Not, you know. But these guys, I feel like the reason why is because I've been that predator on the mountain before, and I understand, like I've been exposed to it, where, like, maybe these guys haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. My argument is they have because of the guy who got eaten by the bears, who, like, obviously saw them fuck shit up and was like, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, like, me, who has, like, been out there and stumbled across, like, a moose carcass that I'm like, what in the God's green earth could have done this? You know, because it wasn't human, whatever the fuck tore this thing up, like, and then I'm out there being like, nope, not so beautiful anymore being out here, man. Like, it's pretty, like, cutthroat out there.
That's also
What's your take?
I would say, like I said, you have to respect it, right? Because humans are soft compared to animals.
Yeah.
Even deer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're soft.
So soft.
We are extremely soft, and, like, going back to, like, the complacency kills of that guy, right? He was just super confident. There's nothing wrong with having confidence, but you need to have a reality check too, right?
Yeah.
And coming back to, like, what Dylan was saying about those hikers, they probably don't have that outdoor experience.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been from the city. Don't have the experience of, like, running into wildlife, what they're capable of. So, like, I mean, we're all super fortunate having being raised in the outdoors and seeing it firsthand,
Mm-hmm.
and having that knowledge, but also been having that talk of, like, yes, you got to be safe and have fun, but you have to respect it too, right?
Because that could be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that switch can flip pretty quickly between hunter and hunted. Like,
Yep.
I got a story from my youth. A friend of mine, this was a secondhand story. His uncle was avid hunter, right? And so he goes out and he's like up, I want to say he's up like the Kachika or something, like northern BC. Like he's cruising out there, right? Looking for moose. And so he's like several days in, took like a water transport in, and he's basically like scouring this area on like a 3-day cycle before his like meeting back up with the water transport to go out, right? So he's like a day and a half into this. And at night, he starts to hear these, like, rustles around his camp. And so, like, morning comes, he wakes up, he's packing up his kit, treks around, he's like, oh, yeah, there's fucking wolves here. And so he's, throughout the day, on the periphery, he sees, like, the little head pop through the bush, go back in. And so, like, these things are on him, man. And he's out there. Like, nothing's coming for the next day and a half till he meets up with the boat. And he's got, like, 9 rounds on him with his rifle, right? And so it's like shit goes down and this pack decides he's lunch, no chance, right? And so he starts basically like, he's like, all right, I came here, I was hunting, now I'm surviving for the next 36 hours until my pickup comes back. And so as his story goes, he's like, you know, going around, kind of staying by like the water side, like he knows that they're on him. There's no place he's going to be able to hide that they can't also go. And so he's just conscious of it, right? Like sleeps in really short bursts, always keeps the fire lit at his camp in the night. And like, he knows they're there, man. And they're watching him for the next 36 hours. And so it ends up that he ends up getting out without issue, like meets up with his transport, rolls out. But as he's rolling out, he sees like 3 or 4 heads poking out of the bush, just watching the whole time. Oh. And like, man, it's just, you know, again, just that realistic perspective that's bounded in, like you say, you can be confident, but let that confidence be bounded in the realism of the situation that you're in, you know? You're not in your backyard, in your community that's, you know, loud and bright and much as it might have garbage cans and shit, like, isn't inviting to these things that naturally thrive in the deep woods. And just how quickly that can change. Like, again, man, it's like, it's a cool story to share, but how different that story could have been, you know? Like that.
Truly, man, that is terrifying. I saw a bunch of wolves when we were out moose hunting in Chasm, man, near 100 Mile. It was the first time I'd like actively seen them kind of ripping around.
Pretty fucking big.
humongous, and so fast. I could not believe how fast these things were, man. And smart. Like, I was gonna kill one. We were moose hunting, man. I saw wolves up there. We need to keep them in checks and balances. I'm a firm believer. Like, I'm gonna go on a tangent here. Sorry, fuck everyone. Like, all right, buckle up. Okay, wolf hunt, predator management in British Columbia, specifically British Columbia, and like I could be talking North America wide if I'm being honest, but my own knowledge is in British Columbia. Having hunted Region 1, Vancouver Island, having hunted Region 3, like Kamloops and surrounding areas, hunted Region 4, Region 5. Here's my take. Back before humans fucked everything up, there never used to be, and this predates logging, the massive shift of settlement into British Columbia from the East Coast to do the timber work in British Columbia. There were no logging roads, okay? Wintering ranges for animals like elk, moose, deer are way the fuck up in places with deep snow that animals like dogs and cats just simply cannot reach. Because they do not have 6-foot long legs and they can't go through the snow and make these kind of treks that herd animals can. Now, that being said, we came in, we built a bunch of roads into wintering areas for like deer, moose, elk, every undulate you can imagine. We have destroyed their wintering grounds for the most part. All over
caribou with sledding.
Caribou with sledding, same deal though. How do you get to a sledding area? You rip a logging road up to the top and unload your right. So it's all logging, right? Like all these access roads have been, and access to these wintering ranges has been on logging roads. We do our part. We deactivate roads like our logging companies. We don't deactivate them for predators, man. What's a fucking 10-foot ditch gonna do for a pack of wolves, man? Nothing. They scale that in half a stone, blink. A truck, for sure, yeah. We're not getting in those spots, but like, we need to be, for one. That's a whole different story. Like, my thing is that predator management is now something that is mandatory, as in like grizzly bears, wolves, cougars, because they now have access to areas that historically they've never had access to. That has caused an abundance of prey animals like deer, moose, elk, and now that they're in these areas, man, and we've built these roads into there, it is now our job to manage that. We need to keep the numbers in check, otherwise they're going to utilize these roads because they're smart, they're predators, they're apex animals. A lot of these, like, in their respected regions, they're going to utilize any system they can to get food, man, and that includes logging roads that take them directly into fucking wintering grounds. And
resistance, right?
With the path, it's the path of least resistance. Every game trail, it's what I learned as a kid, man. Every animal just takes the easiest way up the hill. Easiest way up the hill is a fucking road, man. Especially in the snow, they don't have to go through anything. They just trot right along the road. So my whole plan is anybody who is like against predator hunting needs to come up with a solution to like having predators not access these grounds or completely debilitating these roads for animals. Thoughts? What do we think?
I think that's like a great way to kind of segue into the conversation around conservation. You know, I think that's a major part of both hunting and also just like your ecological knowledge of like being active in nature, right? Like, so you know one thing that fucking gets me, and this might be like a minor thing.
It grinds my gears.
You know what really grinds my gears? It's people feeding the fucking birds, man.
Ooh.
Didn't used to bother me until I learned about how fucking terrible it is for bird species. Not only that they can't digest a lot of the shit they get fed, like
Wonder Bread.
Wonder Bread. That's not in their fucking diet, bro. You tell me you have a fucking duck bakery or a goose bakery, man. It's not in their diet. And then too, like how that affects their natural like food sourcing habits, right? And like I look and like, you know what, devil's advocate, I get it. You know, you're an old guy in your 80s walking around the park with a bag full of stale bread. You just love when all those ducks come up to you and quack and they're pumped up and you're like, oh, this is just such a great
Serotonin
experience.
release.
You know what I mean? You take your little grandkid there who's never seen geese and they're coming right up to you and taking it from their hands and what, and you know, like devil's advocate, I get it. But from a conservation perspective, from like a wildlife betterment perspective, man, stop doing that shit. You're not helping the birds. You're making them teach their young to go and do that, to engage with humans in that capacity. And it's going to have one of two things happen. One, those future birds aren't going to have the capabilities to go and find food in the natural environments that they should be, you know, in the grass pulling worms by where they come up by the rivers, you know, picking up little seeds and things from the trees on the ground. Man, you're telling me you've got this super ultra calorie dense bread and you're going to go and pick seeds instead when that's just being tossed out right to you by this thing that's not going to hurt you, not going to harm you. And so like, I don't know, man.
Segueing, I wonder the ecological impact that has on like all these different like migratory routes, breeding holes. Like if you have a generation of ducks that's lived on a lake and this thing migrates to a different lake where there's people that have just fed it bread, and it's like, why the fuck would I leave? And then it has a generation of ducks underneath it that are like, we're just staying here. And then that pond that was getting all of the excess nutrients of having a duck flock on it no longer does.
Or this
I
new
don't know,
pond.
who knows? I'm getting way too into
No,
that.
man, and this new pond that all these ducks are at, that before had the natural alleviation of the bacteria present in the lake, that's now just getting dumped by goose shit.
Yeah.
10 months of the year.
Yeah.
Because people are feeding the geese there. And now the people that used to come to that water and swim are like, what the fuck, man? I got duck itch now. I never used to get it here. And so, like, again, for each interaction that humans have with a larger ecological system, there's an impact.
Oh, it's
and,
huge impact.
And that impact isn't always measurable at the level of your, like, viewing and your participation in that interaction. Like, again, going back to what you said before, right? We built logging roads. Now predators have access to these areas that historically would have been like a fucking hassle to get to, which meant a lot less frequency, a lot more volume of the prey animals in those areas. And again, it's not like people were like, we're going to go and build this so there's more predators here.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
the impact of that involvement
Is an afterthought.
is often down the river from where you're actively doing it, right? And so it's like kind of this idea where it's like if you piss in the high water and someone's swimming downriver from you, well, they don't know they're swimming in your piss, but you know what?
You do.
You know you pissed in the river that's flowing down that way, right?
You know they're swimming in your piss.
Yeah, man. So suffice to say, it's like,
Can you live with
stop
yourself?
feeding the fucking birds.
Can you live with yourself pissing on Dell for the rest of your life? He's downstream of these fucking breadcrumbs, dog. Stop pissing on my boy. You can't take it anymore.
Well, and it's the wider conversation, right? You know, like I'll talk about, Keyron talked about a bear story earlier. I'll talk about a bear story I had. Totally different locale, totally different situation, but it kind of speaks to this topic of conservation and being aware of your ecological impact, okay? So I grew up in Terrace. So for those of you that don't know, you head to the northwest coast. Anybody who knows like Haida Gwaii or previously known as the Queen Charlotte Islands, you ferry to the mainland. My home is 90 minutes from that shore, okay? So you're way up there. I'm closer to the Yukon than I am Kamloops, where we're podcasting this from, right? You're fucking out there in the woods. We've got all manner of large wildlife out there.
Hey, low-key, you guys have bison nearby.
I had never seen one myself, but I know they would have farms if you were heading like
Farms?
to the
How
like
far is Pink Mountain from Terrace?
outside of my knowledge, but I know we talked about it.
It's probably about, 4 hours?
All right, so there might be some around.
Yeah. And so coming back to this story, I'm like 17 years old, walking home from a buddy's house on like just a street in Terrace. Relative to Terrace, I'm like probably a kilometer from the river system. Walking through a neighborhood, suburban neighborhood, okay?
We need to top up our geography. It's 13 hours.
Okay, 13
Holy
hours.
shit. British Columbia is
From Pink Mountain
massive.
to
But it's
Terrace.
fucking massive, man.
British Columbia is massive.
Sidebar, all of Scotland can fit on Vancouver Island. I looked this up when my boss was headed to Scotland. I'm like, how fucking big is Scotland?
I'd be
Looked at
curious.
it to Vancouver Island. Bro, all of Scotland can fit on
Wow.
Vancouver Island. That's a country.
I'd be so curious how many countries, if you were to take like small ones, could fit inside British Columbia.
That'd be a cool topic for a future Garage Chats.
Sorry.
No,
All right, I'll shut the fuck up.
No, man. I love it. But like, I just want to cap off this story quick with the bear. So I'm walking down like I say, suburb, right? Hear this rustling to the right side of me. The biggest brown bear that I've ever seen in my fucking life is 15 feet away from me, like digging into this dumpster, having a feast. And as I walk by, it was this weird sense of like, just lets you know how primal nature is and how far removed we are from that. As soon as I lay eyes on this bear, twists his head and just casts a glance at me, man. Just checking him out. He's like, oh.
You want to throw down?
I-
McDonald's
yeah,
burger? Let's go.
I smelled you walking down this whole street, man. Like, what's up? I see you now.
This
What's
is
up?
Gator's territory.
And I literally, man, like I looked at it, I met eyes, just continued walking. So like I'm keeping eyes with it. I'm just walking by. I get like probably 20 meters further down the street, and I'm just like, no, man, heart's in my throat. I'm just like, fuck it. Like sprint.
You ran.
Man, I stayed in eye contact till I was out of sight. It's doing its thing by the garbages behind the house. I'm now on the other side of the house. I walked for as long as I could, man. In my head, I'm just like, you gotta get at least 50 feet before you take off, man. Like, I'm going for as long as I can. Like I say, man, I just feel my heart come up my chest. It's in my throat. I'm like, no, fuck it. And I just sprint, man, all the way to my house, like kilometer and a half, just get to and I'm like checking over my shoulder every like 100 meters, man.
Spoiler alert, he lived.
Yes, live.
Usain Bolt sprint time.
Dude,
shit.
got to my house and almost like passed out in my garage.
Oh
like
my
that's
God.
how hard I was running, man. Like,
Fuck.
and this guy's, he took one look at me, probably just continued having his feast. He's
Yeah.
like, why am I gonna put in the work
This
when I
garbage
got
can's
this
not
meal
running.
right in front of me?
Yeah, this garbage can's not running.
But man, just one of those moments where you're like, just
Hopeless.
hopeless. Dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm walking down the street in a t-shirt in my runners, and this thing just takes one look at me, decided, no, I'm good with the garbage
Yeah,
can.
just that.
But just one of those humbling moments where you're like, however nuts you think you are, like,
We don't even get like deep into what that decision was for that bear, because I don't think they're conscious like that, man. Like,
no.
to be able to look at me like, I think like something just like automatically clicked them as like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And like just the fact that you were on that scale for half a second of being like, yeah, no.
Mm-hmm. And like I said,
Primally decided no.
I think bears, it's something like, it's close to 10, this might vary by species, but from my understanding, bears can track scent for around 10 kilometers. And,
I believe that.
and so, like, you think about that,
No.
man. There's,
Yeah, I believe
man.
that.
We're gonna
Some-
fact check that for Caden.
Fact check. Fact check that for sure,
Because I
bro.
know the bloodhound is like 4 kilometers, and that motherfucker's
Bears
like,
are
Bears
better.
they're better than bloodhounds.
are no
Yeah.
way.
From what I understand, it has to do with how their
Fuck's
noses are
sakes.
structured, man. Check that out. Like, this for all you hardcores out there. We're gonna do a fact check.
Yeah, and our guy is ChatGPT. What?
18 to 20 miles for strong senses with carcasses.
Okay, well, whoa, okay, shut the fuck up. okay, hold on. So it says this is ChatGPT. says the best smeller on Earth biologically, number 1, the African elephant.
Okay.
Can smell water up to 12 miles away, 20 kilometers.
If you had a trunk that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better.
You're using it
to.
for something, man.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2, the bloodhound. Airborne scent detection, 1 to 3 miles under good condition, but can track a trail up to 130 miles.
What the fuck?
Besides that, though, so like I was talking 1 to like air detection. That's what I was talking about. That's what you guys were talking about. So like these motherfuckers aren't that sick. Grizzly bears, 16 to 32 kilometers airborne. Those motherfuckers can sniff, dude.
They can sniff.
Yeah, and then a wolf is 1 to 2 miles airborne. Yeah, brother, grizzly bears got it in the bag by far. Shark can smell in a nano. 1 drop of blood in 1,000,000 drops of water, up to 800 meters.
Oh, fuck. So suffice to say, man, this bear, if you think about it from what you're like, what's our visual distance that we can see before the curvature takes place? I think it's like 6 to 8 kilometers.
I'm not chatting that one, sorry guys.
Okay, it's all good. It's not as crazy as you would think. So like the takeaway from this is that a bear can smell you before you can see it. In perfect conditions. And
disgusting.
Anybody who's ever been in backwoods knows you're not looking in perfect conditions.
No.
You're looking on slopes, you're looking into trees, you're looking into dense forestry that looks samey.
Unfavorable for our set of senses.
Absolutely. And disproportionately so when you think of the relative distance that this thing can smell you. So the bottom line is that it knows you're there before your means of even like technical detection have any sort of relevance in that conversation. And so I think about that when I learned that about bears. I thought about that experience that I had in that neighborhood. And it's like, man,
the guy smelled you leaving
that
your
guy
buddy's house.
smelled me when I
Left
my
house.
friend's house.
Yeah.
He knew I'm getting closer and closer and closer and closer. That casual look that he cast me, that for me is I'm like, oh fuck. That's like an 8-foot tall bear. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's
like, eh,
by the time
I'm
you were
good.
there.
I've got my meal here.
Can you imagine smelling the pizza delivery vehicle as it was approaching the house, being like, "Yeah, that pizza's getting closer." Like, I can't see it yet,
I
but
forgot
it's
my
coming.
pepperoni.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's what these guys are doing. Man, I got a story about having running into a predator on my way home. Different kind of predator.
Wasn't the 2-legged cougar at the grotto, was it?
No.
Did he pull up in a white van with no decals?
Yes. So, picture this, boys. I'm fucking... God, I had to be like 9 or 10. It was like when they really started hammering like the real stranger danger. Not just like, oh, like don't talk, but like they're gonna drag you into the back of a fucking van and you'll never be seen again type beat. And I was like, whoa, that stuck as a little kid.
I got a story after this too.
Okay, alright, good. Cool, good. Good, boys, alright, good. We're gonna go this way because we gotta
Yeah.
Fuck, man. So I'm walking home. I was walking home with Reader. Reader fucking goes home. We live like a straight shot, so like trail at the top there. Reed's house is like 7 houses past that. Not to dox him.
250 meters, like kind of deal.
Like pretty close.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he gets out of there though, man. Like, and I'm walking to the end of the cul-de-sac where this trail starts. Right, I'm solo at this point, man. It's a broad fucking daylight, like 3 p.m. man, like right after school, like school's out. Kids everywhere, right? But like all of a sudden I'm solo, which isn't like out of the norm. We have a good neighborhood. I'm like, fuck, maybe like 40 yards, 50 yards from the start of this trail. That like, if I get to that trail, man, like, I've always been like, I'm good. As soon as I get there, like, you just like rip down that trail, man. Cars can't get down there. Like, I planned this shit out my whole life. Fuck, I'm walking down the road, man. this fucking like out of a fucking movie, dude. This like old ass, like rusty ass, no windows, fucking no decals van, like fucked up 1980 GMC rumbling diesel, dude. Like inching, comes up behind me like pretty quick, dude, and then just like inches along beside me, dude. I'm like, what the fuck, right? Like
You're how old?
like 9 or 10. Okay, like hair on the back of my neck is fucking like standing. Something was wrong. Like I knew immediately. I was like, what the fuck, right? Like, but he's like kind of cruising. I go off the road. I was like kind of walking on the road. Like it's a suburban neighborhood. No fucking vehicles are ripping around. I like go off the road. I'm like walking on people's fucking like lawns now, man. And this guy's like just like slowly fucking like cruising, right? Guy like drives, I like kind of like stand off, like at this point I like stop and I'm like kind of standing off the side of the road being like, oh my god, like this guy here for me, you know? He like cruises off a little bit, hits this little cul-de-sac at the end of the road, maybe 30 meters at this point away, like not very far, like 2 seconds it took him to turn around. Guy fucking turns around, man, rolls his window down, like sticks his head out to say something to me. I'm like, nope, boom, just start flying, bro, like full sprint. I'm like, this motherfucker, like for real, he's talking to me. Like when he rolled the window down and I was like, fuck, he's gonna be like, hey, you know, like we're, you know,
need a ride,
yeah,
man?
need a ride or something. Oh, I was tweaking out, man. So I sprint, I hit the fucking trail, I get down the fucking road, man, like full beat, dude. I'm flying, get down, rip down this road, man, get inside, tweaking. Parents are home. I'm like, yo, some fucking guy just like tried to pick me up, like in a fucked up van. Right there, yada yada. They're like, all right, called the police. Bro, like 3 cops show up to the house. They're like, description, like, give me the van, give me the fucking guy, what he looked like. Like, guy looked like a fucking... Guy looked like he wanted me in his van.
Looked like a
dude,
diddler.
You know, like,
yeah.
Hate to say it, man, like, he truly did. And like, fuck, dude. So like, I give this statement, whatever. They run it on the news. They run it on the fucking news. They're like, yo, like... RCMP are looking for this fucking van and like this guy, like they did a fucking like the whole thing, bro. Guy turns himself in like that night. He's like eating dinner with his family, watching the news, and he's like, holy fuck, this guy sounds like they sound like they're talking about me. Like I was working, you know. Guy goes to the fucking cops and they're like, man, that was me. I'm a contractor. He's like, I fucking have no idea why I decided to ask a fucking kid, but I was looking for an address. This is before smartphones and shit, you know? Like, I was like, this is like 2004. Fuck, dude, this guy just decided to fucking pull over in this sketchy ass work van and like ask me for directions to like a house, man. And after like, he was like going slow because he was like looking for like house numbers and shit. And like, that's why I thought he looked weird, is because he kept, like, going like this, man, and, like, kind of looking at me.
Every contractor's done that.
Bro, right? And, like, oh, my, looking at it now, I'm like, holy fuck, I've done that shit, dude, you know? But, like, he had this sketchy-ass gray rusty van, bro, no windows, like, spun the block, bro, rolled the window down to ask me, dude. I didn't want to hear any of it, man. As soon as the window cracked, I was gone out of there, man. Like, yeah, so, guy had a wife and kid. Like, just a good guy.
Yes.
just a super good guy.
Get through a wrong turn.
Yeah, oh
Do
yeah.
not judge a book by its cover.
Eating dinner and was just like, holy shit, I was working on that street today.
Honestly, though,
I tried to chat to that kid. It must be him.
You know, in the 9-year-old's brain, a frame of reference, man, you played your cards right.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't regret it.
Yeah.
I was
No.
like,
That's not
fuck. I always wonder too. It's like, what if he actually was? Just like, well, like a diddler, and was just like, no, I gotta get ahead of this. Just like went down to the shop and was like, yeah, no, that was me. I'm just a contractor. Like,
oh wow,
bought himself a couple more years under, not under the fucking gun. Like,
free advertisement then.
yeah, like,
what happened with you, Keyron?
So this is a wildlife story I was thinking about it. So I was up sheep and caribou hunting in around Summit Lake area, like around Fort Nelson. And had gone to the hot springs. And boys had a couple beers, come back out at pitch black, and we were camped out the hot springs. There's like a campground across the highway.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming out, it's pitch black, and just about to hit the highway, look to our left, and there's a bear.
Cold fuck.
And we're talking like 10, 15 feet.
Holy
So,
fuck.
me and my uncle and my brother, we just look at the bear, and in unison, we're just like, fuck off! And the bear just took off. And yeah, sorry, that's the closest experience I've had in the wildlife. But yeah, we were like, hey, we're either going to scare this bear or going to kick him in the nuts. But that's the closest encounter.
Well, you can go either way, right?
Holy
Like, that's a fucking.
shit.
that
Yeah,
could
we were
truly go left or
in
right.
our swimming shorts and Crocs.
Be thankful it went the way it did.
Holy shit.
What's your story, Dill?
Mine's more similar to Joe's, but like, so like, there's a few key things you need to know, right? So like, anybody who's not from northern BC, I'd be surprised if they knew this, but like, the Highway of Tears.
Yep.
That's internationally renowned.
Okay.
That's everyone knows
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So like, Highway
Do you know
of
that,
Tears.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
we won't go into it. If you want to know more about it, it's
Google
super
it.
fucked. Google it. My town is on one side of that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, one of the exits of that highway. Also, some fuck shit happening in my hometown now that like I was made privy to as I was there visiting, but like things where they've got like sex trafficking rings, like just crazy shit going on in northern BC, you know, in these remote ass places. With that context being acknowledged, secondary context is how my neighborhood looked growing up. So I live next to this giant field in like one of the suburban areas in Terrace, right? So what would be my junior high school is connected to that. There's a big ass field, and then there's the neighborhood I lived in, okay? So I lived at the end of a cul-de-sac. Opposite end of the street, there's a gravel path that connects my street to the field I was just talking about, right? By the school. So being like a young kid, I think I must have been like 10 or 11 realistically, the age where you have like, you know, your autonomy, you're doing your own shit. We're a small town, right? Me and my buddies having like a sleepover at my house.
Starting to drive, you know, it's Terrace.
It's Terrace, you know. You've had a couple darts at school,
Yeah.
but and so anyways, when I'm like 10 years old, let's say, right? One of my buddies is staying over at my house. We're like, oh man, let's go sneak out and like go explore around, right? 10 years old. So we sneak out of my house, go out the basement door, cruise around the yard, make our way into like the school fields. We're now just on the town, right? Doing our thing, cruising around the streets. It's Terrace. It's fucking dead. Like there's no vehicles, no nothing. It's like, let's say 12:30 at night, right? So we're on our way back, heading to my house. I'd say it's like 1:30 now, okay? We get to the field and we're walking across. And my friend just like looks at me, he's like, do you see that? Turns around, and so on the opposite side of the school, there's another entrance to the field. And we just see this like clearly by the size of the silhouette, like adult. There's no lights in the field. This is like there's a neighborhood on either side, and then this essentially pitch black area that's the field by the school, right? So we see this guy enter on the other side of the field, obviously an adult, looking by his physique, my mind's instantly like, that's a guy. Dude starts making like a beeline for us, just like casual at first, right? Kind of walking in our direction. We're like midway across the field at this point. So relative to that gravel path I was talking to you about, 200 to 250 meters from it, right? And so we're instantly, like you said, man, hair in the back of your neck goes up, and you're just like, this is fucking, like this feels
off.
Weird right now, right? So we're like walking, like looking back over our shoulder. This dude starts to pick up his pace. Like, he's now into the field. He's out of the lights from the neighborhood, but we see his silhouettes from the little bit of, like, you know, the porch lights and shit people have. So we see the silhouette flashing in and out of the lights as he's going past the fences. This guy's at, like, a full buck, like, sprinting towards us now. We're two 10-year-old kids, so we're like, I literally remember looking at my friend and I'm like, oh, fuck, like, we gotta go. And we're start booking it for this thing, right? Like, we're running, looking over our shoulders, or running to the gravel trail. Man, this guy's gaining on us. Like, he's probably cleared, there's maybe 50 meters between us and him now.
Oh,
he hasn't said anything. He's not shouting out being like, hey, what are you kids, like,
Just a silent sprint.
Like, sprinting on us, man. And we're, like, running as hard as we fuck. We're like, we're 10 years old, man. There's this adult, like, sprinting across this pitch black field at us. We get to the gravel road, and I'm just like, don't stop, bro. Don't stop till we get to my house. We run around the edge, and I remember this. Like, I'll remember this till I die. I look back down this alley of, like, man, maybe 50 feet. Right through this gravel path, and here's this guy just standing at the edge of the gravel path like this, looking down from, like, the darkness of the field to where we are on the street lights, just right there, man. Like, he got that close, and then dips back away, and we're just like, fucking run all the way to my house, basement door going close. We're like looking out the windows, being like, fuck, man, did he spot us? Like, whatever. No sign of him or nothing. But, like, man, I'll never forget the chilling feeling of that, looking back and being like, 50 feet is what separated us, two 10-year-old boys, from this unknown man in the pitch black field who, whatever his intentions were, man, just decided,
didn't want to find out,
saw an easy lick and just gunned for it.
Imagine like a gang initiation, like anything.
Man,
though,
anything.
Right? Like,
and there were stories of that, of things like that growing up in Terrace, right? And so it's like, I'll remember that till, like, the day I die, bro. That feeling of just seeing this, like, you know, this predator, man, just standing there at the edge of the fucking light, being like, all right, they got away this time.
That's why you always travel with someone slower than you.
As a nugget
I'm gonna be the one.
Sacrificial.
I'm gonna be the one telling the story, bro.
Don't worry, bro. I'll tell everyone you fucking. Yo, bro, you should see how the bear looked though, man. I know they fucking got him, man, but, like, you should see how that bear looked, man. You fucked him up before you got him.
Should see the other guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just one of those wild things where you're like, again, how quickly that experience can change. Going back to the earlier conversation of hunter and hunted, man.
Becoming prey.
Becoming prey. Humbling experience, man. Whether it's from wildlife or from wild humans, you know? Holy shit. Sorry, boys. That was a big tangent away from what we were chatting about.
I was hoping you were telling that story. When you started telling it, I was like, I hope he tells the field one, man. I want to fucking hear this again. That's so crazy, bro. Like,
gnarly.
Oh, bro. It's even talking about it now, I'm like, I get goosebumps because it's just like, I picture myself in that 10-year-old mindset for how I felt in that moment. For like you say, Joe, you're in your story, right? For what all of these sensational cues your body was giving you on, like, this doesn't feel fucking right. Like, something fucky is in the wind right now, and just yeah, man, how quickly shit can happen. You know?
I don't remember what story I told.
About the guy who ended up being the contractor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was funny. That fucking guy, man, holy shit, his life could have got ruined, man. So close, man. Oh, that's nuts, man. I don't know, there's a few other ones, bro, like, but let's, like, paint just for people that don't actually get to be around wildlife too, man. It isn't all that fucking terrifying either sometimes, man. Like, we go fishing, you guys gotta come. This is a once in a lifetime fucking thing, bro. Like, but we're fortunate enough to get to do it whenever we want, living on the island. Nit River. Now I'm just, like, throwing out an expose on this place that's gonna be packed, but dude, it is like, it funnels from what's it fucking called, bro? There's, like, this awesome lake. Lake Cowichan funnels from the mouth of Lake Cowichan all the way up to, like, wherever the fuck. But it's called the Nit River, man. the salmon come flying through there every year, and it is like a little slice of heaven. Like, it is incredible. There's elk standing in the water, man. There's 10,000 fucking salmon in these different holes all at once, man. Like, there's one time we were fishing there. We were standing there. The fish hadn't come up the river yet, just like a few little pockets of fish or whatnot, but we're standing in the river, man. My dad, a couple of his buddies, whatever. We're sitting there in like knee-high water, roughly, like just under knee-high water, okay? Trying to get it, like this little fucking crowd of steelhead or a little coho or whatever, sitting under these, whatever, we're fly fishing. Small little rivers on the island. They're small rivers. Like, they're not, like, much, like, dude, they're smaller from here to the fence. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, they're not that, like, I'd say, like, max
40 feet across.
Yeah, 40 feet across kind of thing. Like, you can walk out 20 feet, too. Like, they're only, like, 8 feet deep at the deepest part.
Like, you're fishing with waders.
Yeah, you're fishing with waders. You're standing in there, just to paint the picture. You're standing in there with waders, you know, whatever. Blah, blah. We're sitting, like, just under our knees, maybe just over our knees, whatever. Long day. We were there like 3 hours at this point. Chilling there. Man, it's dead silent, too. Like, you hear the water moving, whatever. But, dude, all of a sudden there was this roar. Like, this, like, not like a bear, but, like, water. Like, it was like water was moving. Like, a fuckload of water. You
like
could
a
just,
rapid roar?
sounded like a rapid, but, it was not there. We'd been fishing this hole, dude. And all of a sudden, like, it just come from the trees, dude. Like, this, like, rapid roar starting to, like, happen, right? We're like, what is that happening, right? The water is rising. Not, like, inches a second, but, like, over, like, a course of 5 minutes, it went from, like, under the knee to over the knee. And we're like, what the fuck? You know? Like, we've fished out here for years. Man, it was the first push of fish. There had to be 100,000 fish coming up the river at once. Like, maybe not. I have no clue how many fucking fish. Enough to raise the goddamn water level of the river by like 5 inches, though.
Holy fuck.
These things came through the river. We're standing like knee, like we're in the fucking water, man. Probably like 10 feet in. Man, these things are like, the water's splashing. Like, dude, there's fish fucking everywhere. I can't explain to you. Like, it was like what you hear of your grandfather talking about, you know, being like, there used to be fish in the water. Dude, like, you step on them, and like shiners, fresh out of the fucking ocean, man. Like, maybe out of the ocean for 10 hours, dude. These things are fresh, man. Can't get out of the water, man. You take a step, you're knocking into fish. They're banging into your legs, man. These are like 25, 30 pound fish, man, all making a push through the fucking water, and you're just standing there, man, like, just privy to this. Like, incredible. Elk bugling fucking 50 yards down the water. Like, great place. A little slice of heaven. But fucking bears. Oh my god. Bears everywhere, dude. Like, you are fishing on the river with bears sitting where the mic stand is, waiting for you to pull a fish in. They don't want fucking anything to do with you, man. But that's gnarly. My dog's just fucking going to town on herself right now. Yeah, these bears, they don't want anything to do with you, though, man. Like, that's the other thing. I've had great interactions with bears. We just talked about them. Like, they're so menacing, you know? But, like, I've also sat on a beach and shared a beach with 4 or 5 bears for 8 hours before and had no problems whatsoever, you know? Like, obviously keep the pepper spray ready, but what's that gonna do? Just seasoning on their steaks, you know?
Yep.
That's what I hear.
A little spicy Montreal steak spice.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, and I think that's a great segue into, you know, it's like, I feel like we've talked a lot about, like, you know, not necessarily the doom and gloom, but, you know, the realism, the danger, the specificity and the preparedness that comes with being involved in this type of world and engaging with nature in that way. But the crazily, actually, to this point, untouched side of that is just the unrivaled majesty of being out in that environment, you know, like breathing cleaner air than probably 80% of the people on the world have ever breathed in their day, you know, being out in a place where you have real silence, but also the loudest natural volume you've ever, like the most natural melody you've ever heard of all these birds chirping and trees bending. And like, for those of you that have never been out, like, you know, never been hikers, have always lived in an urban environment otherwise, like, hearing trees bending in the wind, and you're like, what the fuck just made that sound? But then you realize it's all these trees just croaking along, moving in the wake, and like,
That's a great sound.
you know, the majesty, the beauty of being out in that environment, realizing all of the potential, you know, the complete other world that exists in that environment. Like,
Environmental audio is one of the craziest fucking things in the world. Just any noise from nature. You ever heard a cougar mating, like screaming?
No.
You ever heard it? Holy fuck, boys. Sounds like a woman, like, being murdered. Sorry, anyone who is watching this, you need to go fucking Google YouTube up a cougar screaming. Close your eyes and imagine sitting in the bush and hearing that. I have. Terrifying. Can I play it? Jamie, pull it up.
yeah, Jamie, pull up cougar mating sound.
Yeah, like, I'm for real though. I was sitting in the bush one time with my dad. I was like young, 8 years old, on the island. We were hunting deer. We were sitting on this little tiny cup block, dude, as the sun came up. We had like our quad nearby, so it wasn't like we were like, you know, backpacking in the middle of nowhere. We just had the quad turned off, chilling. You know, my dad was probably smoking a cigarette. Yeah, dad was probably like smoking a cigarette or anything, and fuck man, we're just sitting there, and out of nowhere, this fucking cougar, I thought it was a woman. It made the craziest noise I've ever heard in my fucking life, dude. And it, yeah, just turned out to be a cougar. My dad had heard it before, and I was like convinced though. I was like, there's a fucking woman on the other side of that hill getting murdered. Like full blown getting murdered, dude. But just a cougar, bro. Here's a cougar screaming.
Sounds pretty peaceful to me.
Oh, that was a short little video, but you like,
Holy.
That's crazy. Okay, that does not sound so peaceful.
yeah. So
That's
just
gnarly.
to give you the little
Whoa.
the listen through, like, just imagine being on a fucking mountain in the middle of nowhere and just like hearing that.
This echoes down through the hills, and you're like,
Oh
I'm next.
yeah.
That's what you immediately start thinking.
whoa,
I'm motherfucking next. Whatever made that noise.
that's wild. But yeah, man, like being out there in nature, like there's a special type of like appreciation that you get for experiencing the reality of like, this is what everything else in the world was like outside of the shit we built. You know? Like this,
That's what it was supposed to be.
this is biologically what was supposed to be. That's a great way to put it, man. And I want to toss the ball to you as well, just on that idea of like having been out to, you know, some of these places that maybe, 0.5% of the population have ever tread on, you know? Being out in these places looking for, you know, game animals, like, what was your experience that kind of like hooked you into that world of like hunting and outdooring and like being involved in that world? What was the experiences that formed your appreciation, your desire to keep doing that?
Before we go to that, honest question, Joey, when all those fish were running through and it rose, did you guys throw the hook in? Did you catch any, or did you guys go back empty-handed?
We definitely were killing fish.
I was
that
gonna
day.
say, I would hope so.
Like, don't get me wrong though. For
That's like going to Costco and grabbing the crab out of the fish
yeah.
tank.
Oh, buddy. to be realistic with you though, like immediately while it was happening, like there was no hooks in the water. Like it was just like, what the fuck?
You're caught in
know?
a natural phenomenon.
Like
Yeah.
caught in a natural phenomenon. Like it was just like, like you're like can't like slippery rocks, man. Like the water's moving in, these big ass fish are tossing you around. Like it was so crazy. Like I was a little bit younger too, so like I probably remember it like a little crazier. But like,
Yeah.
dude, I like looking down. It was like fish, like fucking everywhere for the whole width of the river for as far as you could see, and like. Yeah, I mean, like, after, like, a couple minutes and, like, there was, like, these pockets of, like, thousands of fish just chilling, boys were absolutely slaying fish.
And if you didn't catch any, you wouldn't tell a fisherman's story and say that you did catch them?
Oh, no. See, I was responsible for catching, like, one coho that day.
Oh, yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah.
On my own pole.
Yeah.
Not the sickest fly fisherman. You know, it's tough out there, man. Especially, like, we're using 8-weight fucking poles, man, and catching, like, 30-pound springs. Oh, it's fucking sick, dude. Like, once in a lifetime. But yeah, no, long story short, we were catching fish. I reeled in a few, too, on my dad's round, you know?
Be a shitty fisherman if you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with all that.
Oh, yeah, man.
Busy day with the net.
Yeah.
That's like, not to answer Kieran's question, but that is definitely in my top 5 of, like, moments that hooked me to the game, dude. Like, fuck. The outdoors. Yeah, back to you.
I would say for me, what got me into it is, like, super big in the outdoors, like, growing up, but was busy playing sports, never got the full, like, grandpa moose hunted a lot, like, super successful moose hunter. Never got to do it, was always just busy with sports. And then did my core when I was young, and then graduated high school, got my bought my first hunting license, went out with him, and just having that knowledge to, like, being able to, like, pass it down from, like, him to me and to get that experience was, and it's so peaceful, right? Being outside, breathing that fresh air, and I don't know. The outdoors it's addicting.
Mm-hmm. I think you bring up a really good point on the aspect of mentoring. You know, my wife and I were having a conversation the other day talking about, she was saying how, my wife is on a lot of social media and stuff, she was saying how a lot of people feel like, this around Christmas, right? A lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't feel like Christmas anymore when it's there. And so this kind of started this conversation with the two of us where we're like, you know, for a lot of these people who are now, you know, young adults and whatever, it's like their families were the ones who had these long-standing Christmas traditions. You know, everybody comes over for dinner, you do caroling, you do church, you're right? Like that there's these paces that are involved with that. And you have this population of people now living more digitally connected, but less physically connected than before. And so this idea of, like, those shared traditions is something that if you don't find yourself in the position where, you know, you have this person, this family member, this relative, this close authority who's willing to share these traditions with you, those traditions go by the wayside.
They get
lost. And so I think when we look at, like, you know, the different climate that we see in a lot of things in life, but particularly in, like, new people getting out and acquiring knowledge in, like, you know, an outdoor activity, something like hunting, outdooring, orienteering, any of that, how invaluable it is to have, like, a mentor and someone that can share their perspective and share their knowledge that they've accumulated, their wisdom about how to approach things and the way to think about things and all of those factors that go into that, not just the skills, but the perspectives. You know, like, I think that that's something that year over year is becoming more rare of an experience for people, especially in things like hunting, where there is such a culture and a previous, like, history attached to it, you know, not just in how you handle game, but, like, knowledge of the land, knowledge of zones, knowledge of areas that you're going into.
98% of people that hunt, you ask them how they got into it, it was their dad or their granddad, family member who got them into it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And if not directly someone who they themselves went out with and hunted with, then someone who was their gateway into what that world looked like.
Yeah.
The knowledge, that experience, the culture of being a part of that world.
And you're seeing that now too with, like, you're talking about social media, how you see people post that saying new to hunting, never done it. They're posting on those hunting and fishing pages, and people are willing to, like, pass down that knowledge, right? Which is also pretty cool. But social media, it's good and it's bad, because now with people posting about where do I go, they don't have that experience of My dad showed me these areas, my grandpa. It's a good thing to see hunters out in the wilderness, but it's harder to find those secret pockets.
Yeah.
Honey holes.
Yes.
I think the big part is though too, like I grew up hunting on the island, man. I shot fucking 20 blacktails before I ever shot a mule deer. I for the first 3 years I hunted up here, man, and I felt like I wanted to give it up, man. Like I grew up hunting being like, it's a guarantee I'm cutting all 3 tags this year.
Yeah.
You know, like when I hunted on the island with my dad, you know, like he knew the area like the back of his fucking hand, you know? So like we come up here and it's like all unfamiliar, man. Like we ask anybody, you know, what's a good spot to go there? It's like, oh, you know, go fucking up west side, you know, go to Tunkwa, like just like classic spots that are so overshot and like. But man, I started like it's not literally about like people telling you where to go, man. It's like they say do your homework and whatever, man, and that's such a frustrating thing to hear, but it's like truly, man, it doesn't take much in my opinion. Like I look at pictures of where guys are killing deer and I like look at the scenery, man. I look at the environment. I look at like where, you know, it's like, is there a mountain in the background? Are they at the top of it or at the bottom of it? You know, like can I see a fucking hill there? Is it a super treed up area? What kind of trees? You know? And then it's like, fuck, man. I hit Google Maps. I am like, yep, dope. Like, this is XYZ. This is hitting. Check this box. Check this box. It's on Crown Land. I go for a drive, dude, and like, usually I find deer. Like, there's fucking deer everywhere. Yeah, there's deer everywhere, man. Like, there's fucking deer everywhere. I can't go out and not find deer. Like, I don't know.
Except for when me and Joey go hunting together.
We see so many fucking deer.
We do.
We see a lot of deer, man.
We haven't bagged anything together yet, but we've seen deer.
Yeah, I haven't taken one down.
I remember when we went grouse hunting, we saw 2 moose.
Yeah.
Like, just cruising through, and we're like, what the fuck?
Is that up at Bleecker?
That was Scudo. Around Scudo.
Okay.
Bleecker,
Yeah, man. I went up there, I don't know, was it with you that I went up there most recently with in the snow? And we saw fucking so many moose, dude. Yeah. Like 6 moose or 5 moose.
Yeah, we saw 3 cow and calf pairs.
Yeah, 6 moose.
That is
we saw so many moose, man. It was awesome. Yeah, saw a couple deer too. Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a lot of areas, man. Like I have people that are like getting into it. I talk to a lot of people at the bar, and like just people there being like, oh, like mention hunting, and they're like, oh, I'm new to it, XYZ, and it's like, dude, I'll tell them anything. Like I'll fucking spill my whole book and be like, man, you want to kill a deer, man? I'll show you where. Like pull out your fucking maps, dude. Like no problem, getting people on deer. You know, like, I feel like it's such an awesome thing. Like, it's so good to be successful, man. Like, so many lessons you can learn.
I would say for me, fishing, I'm definitely open to, like, show people spots and stuff because it's stocked lakes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But as far as hunting goes, when you've put those miles on the ground, hiking, driving around, putting in your time, there's definitely a bit more of a reserve on my part of it just because it's like, hey, I put in all the time. Mm-hmm. Maybe take a select few of people. Mm-hmm. There's that honor system too, right? If you take someone in, don't take your buddies into their spot, right?
Yeah,
Totally.
100%. Mm-hmm. There's that sense of like earned territory in a way,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Well, and I think you look no different than like how the regulations are around guiding, right? Like I have a friend who's him and his dad. They live in the Kootenays. Him and his dad do a yearly guided goat hunt, right? And it's like he'll show me pictures of these cuts that they're in and like, you know, the camp that they have set up and whatever. But I'm always just like, oh man, like where is it? He's like, oh, you know, it's like around here, you know? Yeah. And so it's like I get that from that idea of like,
so, yeah, I'm with both of you in a sense. It's never the honey hole. Mm-hmm. It's around here.
Yeah.
You know? If you can't fucking put 2 and 2 together and like find a quick fucking FSR in the spots I'm telling you to rip down, like it's on you.
Well, and as you both have mentioned, right, in different ways, like it's a skill to develop, right? Like it might not take much work initially, but like you put in the time, you refine that down, you know what you're looking for, you know, like I think tracking and being aware of what you're looking for is one aspect of that skill development for sure. But you start to look into like, say, the commercial side of it, right? And it's like, hey, you're a commercial guide. I'm like, how much, like, you know, obviously you guys do it every year, you know, there must be worth your time to do it. Like, I imagine if you have a camp, you've got like a team that you're bringing up there, you're paying for their time. So like, you know, what do you guys charge someone doing it? He's like, dude, per head coming up, $40K. And it's guys from like Australia or like the UK or like, you know, these places are totally different where they're like, I've never been in the northern BC bush. Like, and so literally it's like, all right, man, you want to come up and take a chance that you're going to go home with like some sweet shit and some great memories to tell people about? $40K pop. So it's like, this last one he was telling me about, showing me pictures from, they had 2 people up there. So in my head, I'm like, okay, this is like $80K going into your business. You know, you're spending a week and a half of your life taking someone up here. They're guiding on horseback, man. So it's like they're, you know, you're not cruising up in ATVs and whatever. So like all those animals are kept year round. All their team is paid to do the venture, right? Like not only that, but you've got all the upkeep that goes into, it's like a permanent camp they have, right? So
how
it's
did
like,
they get there? Probably a plane.
Yeah, man. And so it's like you start to run the numbers and you're like, that 80 grand gets eaten up pretty fucking quick.
Checks out.
But you know, that's what you're talking about when you're talking about location data, right? That's something that someone's paying $40K for a chance.
Yeah. Expertise though, safety. They've never been to Northern.
They're not.
BC.
They don't. These guys aren't coming with firearms licenses. You know, like they're the ones going up for the ride, and you know, my friend and his dad are taking the shot. Right? They did all the shit. They got all the tags. All the responsibility is on them, and you're paying for that. You're paying for that privilege to go out, right? But it's just that kind of, again, that added another layer to that conversation around, you know, protected grounds in a sense, right? Because like, yeah, you know, last thing you want is to have a spot go hot and now you've got either one, people in there without the skills, preparation otherwise, or people coming in especially prepared who are clearing it out, right? Yep. And you're like, fuck. Now this spot that used to be wicked is just like you said, Joey, shot out.
A lot of pieces to the pie.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is brought to you by the Kamloops Ballhogs. Witness us live in action this spring, this summer, looking to take home the Kamloops Ball Hockey League Co-Ed Recreational Division Cup.
Nature is just, it's crazy to me being out. So like you guys have each talked kind of about this formative experience of, you know, with family being out in these areas where you were just exposed to this and like, I'd argue the best way possible. Like I remember how I felt, this is just a couple years back. I went to my first salmon run.
Adams River?
Just out of Chase, Adams River, yeah. I went in and checked it out. It's like, it's essentially like a tourism event at this point. And so, like, going there and getting to experience that, you know, just crazy, man. Fish literally jumping out of the water, like, on their journey, cruising through. Like, I took a bunch of the senior citizens who I was working with at that time to that event. Some of them had like never seen anything even remotely similar to that before. Like just raw nature. You're observing a natural process happen. And like minds were blown, man. They were just like standing there like jaw down like, oh my God.
The instinctual journey home.
Yeah, man. And like just, you know, like growing up in northern BC, learn all about the spawning cycle and like, you know, the journey from making the way to the ocean, coming back up to spawn in like the same places where they were born. Like just what an incredible, like when you talk about ingenuity, like this natural force of something that has the brain of like, you know, a walnut, a pea,
yeah, like
has this instinctual drive where it can travel, you know, hundreds of kilometers, right? Yet it knows the way home. Like, that's just something absolutely mind-boggling to me. And like just a cool thing, again, that if you were never involved in outdoors and naturalism and like that connection to your environment, you could go your entire life and just never even be aware of. Whereas like growing up where I did, how I did, that was something that was just like general knowledge. And so in a way, you know, I think that you have to be grateful for those opportunities to be a part of nature, you know, whether that's learning from a mentor, having wisdom about the culture, the practices, the traditions of this craft like hunting, whether that's coming and seeing this incredible natural phenomenon being brought to this place where you were just, you know, having a great day fishing with like Pop. Like I think that at the end of the day, getting to experience that, being involved in that like benevolence that's just that natural process, something so different from what so much of our life is as humans now. I think there's something really special to that.
Super spoiled to have the opportunities that we do in BC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about that earlier, just how we're so well equipped where, like, any of us in this room right now, like, if shit hit the fan, we could just, like, chill in the forest for a night. Get it done. Maybe a couple days. Actually, like, figure it out. Very, like, unique to being, like, a northern person. I feel like you grab the average person out of fucking Maine or, like, Pennsylvania and throw them in the fucking woods. Sorry to anybody in Maine or Pennsylvania. I don't know how it is over there. Maybe, like, let's say Arizona or something, you know?
California?
Yeah, California. Everyone can fucking hate on California. Let's just say California. You throw the average California in the bush, man, or, like, you tell them their car breaks down in the middle of the bush, man, they're tweaking out. I could last a day. I know I could make it overnight.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, and I don't feel like a lot of the population in the world could say that. They tweak out. That's a scary, formidable beast. And we're very lucky to just have these, like, basic intuitions, like how the salmon run works.
Yeah.
So we feel a little bit more comfortable and at home when we're in nature.
Well, I remember something that stands out to me, and maybe this is a good last word when we talk about just connection to nature and kind of being involved in that process of respect, understanding, and, you know, I wanted to say initiation, but that's not the right word. Like engagement, that's a better word. Engagement with the environment that you're around. I had the opportunity to learn whitewater raft guiding when I was like 17 as part of this like sick, man. One of the teachers at my school was like, Dale, do you want to do this? They asked me for a list of people, and I think you'd be sick at this. I was like, wow, okay, wicked. Yeah, that sounds fucking sick. So anyways, we did it. One of the companies, I shouldn't say companies, one of the groups that helped fund it was the Skeena Watershed Coalition back in Terrace, right? And so their job was essentially like lobbying. One of the main roles was lobbying for protected regulation of like what was called the sacred headwaters in northern BC, right? And one of the things, I remember this statement that one of the people who was like our guide trainer gave us, and he's like, so many of the people that are making decisions about what's going to happen with our natural environments in Canada, but specifically northern BC, have never been out there, you know? And his perspective was like, can you imagine if the people making the calls on what's going to happen with our regulation here were doing what you guys are doing right now? Like being out here, cruising down the river, being caught in the spray as you're like going along, just like being in that environment, immersed in that. He's like, do you think they'd be making the calls that they're making now? That's always stuck with me as something where, you know, you guys talked about the gratitude of growing up where we did, how we did. And I think that there's a value to that experience that's just, it's hard to describe to someone who's never been there. So as all of you listening today, if you take nothing else away from this pod, and I think there was a lot of really cool shit to take away from it, get out there. Go fishing. Go into the woods. Ask your buddy that's been bugging you to go hunting with them what you're going to need.